why are we failing? One thing I've realized is that as Africans, we don't come together. That's number one. Number two, we don't trust each other. And number three, we're always competing, and we're never in a position to unite. Not realizing that if me and my brother join forces, we're 2 times better than we are alone. If you look at the Jewish community, they have the least population in the whole world, but yet they control the whole world. It's because they unite. They come together. There's no coincidence that the United States is so respected globally and is the smallest continent. It's the United States. They come together. Now let's take it even a little further. If you calculate 30, 40 years ago, in the Middle East, they wasn't as powerful as they are today until they created the United Emirates. When you come together, you're a lot stronger. It's harder to defeat you. And it puts you in a better position because everybody can utilize those resources to get further. We're helping each other. We're giving each other knowledge. We're supporting every aspect of thought that can take you to the next level when you come together. So the biggest link that's the weakest for Africans is unity. The moment we decide to come together, we will be unstoppable. And I think that's the reason why we've been failing all these years.
Ciao a tutti, bentornati su Incrocio Afrotalent. Come ogni settimana vi portiamo all'incrocio di un Afrotalent. Vi introduciamo oggi un progetto che valorizza l'Africa e vogliamo portarvi proprio a un'idea innovativa e volta al futuro. Questa idea e questo progetto si chiama Akon, dal nome dell'artista senegalese, americano anche, di nazionalità, che si chiama ovviamente Akon. Akon City è un progetto infatti nato dalla volontà del cantante Akon. Il progetto si basa sulla volontà di costruire una città all'avanguardia in ogni campo. E questo progetto si nascerà in Senegal, dall'arte alla finanza, passando ovviamente per istruzione. Questo progetto è stato annunciato nel 2018 e la prima pietra è stata già posata in Senegal, paese di origine, come dicevamo, del cantante Akon. Ora punta a espandersi anche in Uganda per mostrare l'eccellenza africana. Ora lasciamo la parola allora all'ideatore di questo progetto, al nostro Afrotalent della settimana, al cantante Akon. Prima di tutto vi ricordiamo di iscrivervi al canale, per sostenerci e soprattutto di condividere anche le nostre video. Poi c'è anche il nostro GoFund qua fuori per chi volesse darci un minimo contributo per sostenere le nostre video e la nostra idea. Grazie a tutti e alla prossima video. Lasciamo la parola a Akon. Ciao.
Build itself and power itself by the people. So we want to be able to create that model and copy and paste that throughout the continent. So we think it's very, very important because that will just be the spark of a forest fire that eventually one day will raise someone like me or someone that has the potential that I have to do the same. And the idea is for all of us to come unite and build our country together. As for the Akon, which is our cryptocurrency, we want to be able to utilize that everywhere. We're currently beta testing right now in Kenya, which is doing amazingly well. We will be launching that within the next 90 days as an official cryptocurrency throughout Kenya, and eventually will one day become, hopefully, a currency to be used in Uganda as well. As you know, the Akon is a little bit different from the average currency because it's not like the local currency where when you leave Uganda, you can't really cash it in for fiat currency. The crypto allows you to be able to use it globally. And Akon will be one of those platforms, no matter where you go, you can be able to take your finances with you, invest with you, but it will be the heart of what you created here in Uganda. So we do want to be able to implement Akon in Uganda, along not only with the city, but within the normal population one day to come as well.
Okay, Akon and Akon. Make the distinction. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Vincent Siriko. I work with Radio 1 and Akabo Skube. Mine is about, you brought us a key point there. You said Africa has developed the rest of the continents and just forgotten itself. What's really failing Africa, in your view, to be up there since we are the hub of the old world, the old world everyone is yearning for? Why are we failing as a continent to outshine the rest that are just feeding on us? Two.
Let me answer that question first.
Yes,
That's actually a very interesting question because I often ask myself the same thing. With all the resources in the world that's been used to develop every country and we haven't been able to develop ourselves, is an interesting question. Why are we failing? One thing I've realized is that as Africans, we don't come together. That's number one. Number two, we don't trust each other. And number three, we're always competing and we're never in a position to unite. Not realizing that if me and my brother join forces, we're 2 times better than we are alone. If you look at the Jewish community, they have the least population in the whole world, but yet they control the whole world. It's because they unite, they come together. There's no coincidence that the United States is so respected globally and is the smallest continent. It's the United States. They come together. Now let's take it even a little further. If you calculate 30, 40 years ago, in the Middle East, they wasn't as powerful as they are today until they created the United Emirates. When you come together, you're a lot stronger. It's harder to defeat you. And it puts you in a better position because everybody can utilize those resources to get further. We're helping each other. We're giving each other knowledge. We're supporting every aspect of thought that can take you to the next level when you come together. So the biggest link that's the weakest for Africans is unity. The moment we decide to come together, we will be unstoppable. And I think that's the reason why we've been failing all these years. There's no reason why I have to get a visa to come to Uganda when I'm from Senegal. Why is that? Why can't we travel freely throughout the continent like everyone else? If you go through Europe, any country in Europe can go to any place in Europe without having, all you need is a basic ID or a passport. You mean we can't do that in Africa? We just need to come together and understand the value that we have as people as one. But other than that, brother, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to be fighting this for hundreds of years until we realize that unity is the only thing that's stopping us from being great.
Thank you so much. Second was the Akon City initiative. My brother asked it, but I don't know where it's repetitive, but I'd like to get the concept in the sense that it's being rotational and set up in different bases. Now you're choosing Uganda. What's unique about this initiative? And if you could quantify its bulkiness in terms of impact to where you expect to have it located.
Oh, you're talking about the city, right?
Yeah, the city.
Yeah. So,
weigh in on it.
Well, my choice is really based on potential. You know, when I look at the potential of all the places in Africa from a touristic standpoint, I believe Uganda has one of the biggest potentials. I believe Senegal has one of the biggest potentials. I believe Ghana has one of the biggest potentials. You know, I believe Ethiopia has one of the biggest potentials. It's certain countries that just have huge potential. And it's less threatening in many, many ways. And I think when you look at it from that standpoint, it makes it easy to make a decision because through that potential, you can grow something that's viable. And Uganda is one of those places when you, just from my visit here, it's so much about Uganda I never knew even existed. It's a certain welcome that I never knew Uganda even had. When you look at how Uganda has been promoted and how Ugandans have been promoted internationally, you would be scared to death to come to Uganda. All they tell you is about the time frame of Idi Amin and all the things that happened. They don't tell you about what I just saw. And I'm determined to expose that. So I want people to understand how beautiful Uganda is. And the best way to do it is to build my city here.
Thank you. Perfect. Any?
Yes.
Oh.
I go ahead. Okay.
Who is asking?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Daniel Mugoya. I work with UBC. Maybe I'll ask also the minister to try to clarify in terms of the local content. How is the ordinary Ugandan going to benefit Recently, we heard of the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. How is the ordinary Uganda going to benefit from such an initiative? Secondly, Mr. Akon, we would love to know how the management bit will be. For example, Africa faces a lot of corruption at large. So maybe we would like to know the management bit.
That's actually a very, very good question. That was always a thought for me, because I always felt that corruption was the one thing that stopped Africa from growing. People don't realize how much corruption kills a country. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I decided that we're gonna do and put Akon within the city, because it creates a system of transparency through the blockchain. You can't cheat the blockchain. You can't lie to the blockchain. You can't create any forgeable documents or anything through the blockchain. It opens the information up to everyone there, so you're forced to be completely honest. And that alone is going to change the game for Africa the moment blockchain is adapted into the country. So that, and you're 100% correct, you know, it's always been a problem. It's not just Africa. It's a problem in a lot of places. But the key is to get it set and positioned to where it's not an issue anymore. You know, because no one can sit here and tell me that the U.S. is not, you know, more corrupt than Africa. They just have more finances to hide the corruption. You know, that's it. But corruption exists everywhere. That's not, if you spend too much time on corruption, you'll never get anywhere. The key is spending time on empowering the people so they don't have to be corrupt. And I think that's the goal for us. We don't care about the corruption that exists, but the goal is to empower more people, or enough people to where corruption won't matter, because people are all eating and everyone's feeding their families.
Thank you. Honorable Dr. Chris, you want to answer the other part of the question? Build Uganda, how will the Ugandans benefit? Please.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me thank our brother who has raised the question. As earlier indicated by the Honorable Musumba, that we are going to identify a piece of land the size of 1 square mile. And tomorrow we are going to overfly, together with Mr. Akon, the different areas which we are looking at, and then settle for one area where this city will be located. First of all, the city will be here in Uganda, and it's immovable. And yes, you will mobilize resources to put up this city, but it will definitely be constructed by people from Uganda, because it will have to, we shall have to provide the labor. The labor force will be from here. So immediately as it's being constructed, it will provide employment to our people. And as you know, construction has a multiplier effect, because there are many people who get involved in the process of construction. They are the builders themselves, the people who supply sand, who supply various materials, and definitely the materials are going to be procured from here in Uganda. So many people will benefit either directly by getting employed into the construction, but also by supplying various building materials which shall be used to construct this city. And also, once the city is up and running, then shall be us Ugandans who shall be working and running this city. So in whatever way you look at it, Ugandans will benefit from this city, and we definitely need cities, we need urban areas, and therefore his decision to invest in the creation of a city is very welcome, and we have appreciated it as a government, and that's why we are here together with him to assure him that we shall give him all the necessary support to ensure that this city comes and this dream is translated into a reality. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Minister.
Two more questions.
Yeah, let me add to that quick. Like the minister said, you know, there's to be a lot of direct and indirect impact as to how Uganda will benefit. We will be having some professionals that we plan to fly into Uganda that can train the locals. And I think one of the things that we miss out in major countries is the access of information. And we need to be properly trained, not only just in construction, but also management of the property and then maintenancing of the properties. So we want to make sure that every piece of every part of every sector is covered, but we want to be able to utilize and only utilize the locals, which is the Ugandans. But clearly, we need to make sure that the Ugandans are properly trained to properly do the jobs as well, too. So we want to be able to continue to provide more than enough jobs for the people in the surrounding areas. And then we get even deeper into the impact, because the idea of each city, we will have an entertainment district. I know there's millions of entertainers here in Uganda that don't have access to proper recording studios, proper film studios. This we plan to provide within the city in the entertainment district. And then we have a district which is the medical district, which is a 10,000-bed hospital for the locals in case of any sicknesses, any viruses, any basic traumas. You got a place to go to properly be, treated. Instead of having to fly all the way to France or all the way to Dubai, you can stay home and be treated properly with all the latest equipment. And then you have the business district for all the entrepreneurs that's in the city that have their own jobs or want to create jobs or create businesses. This is the business district that allows you to get proper loans to start your own business. And we'll also have teams there that actually will help you set up your business properly with the right licensing, the right paperwork, the right everything to be able to be successful in it. Then we also have the educational district, which is the district where we're putting 4 universities within the Akon city. We have a partnership with Stanford University. We have a partnership with Berkeley University for music. We have a partnership with MIT. And then we have a partnership with Stanford. So you have not only law, but you have business, you have IT, and you have music. So now you don't have to fly all the way to the United States to go to university at Berkeley when you can do it right here in Uganda. So the idea is to make sure that everything that you can utilize for your day-to-day life and everything that allows you to be able to be the best at what you are will have those elements within the city to help you become that. So these are all the great opportunities that Ugandans will benefit from. And now there will be people from other countries that's closer that may want these same benefits. Someone from Rwanda may want to fly there for school, or someone from Kenya want to come, to the educational district and, take on law or whatever the case. But at least you guys will be the hub for the surrounding areas for those opportunities. So there's a lot outside of education and employment that would be beneficial to Ugandan people.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Akon. On that note,
I have a question, please. Here. 1 or 2 questions. Leon Senyange, CGTN. Very, very insightful things there that you're talking about. And with the launch of the Akon City in 2018, I would like to know, probably from your own perspective, how much of a drawback the 2020 and still occurring COVID-19 pandemic has affected the ambitions of what you are setting out to do for Africa in terms of generation of resources, the investors you plan on talking to. Let's face it, everybody has been hit economically. So has it in any way affected you? That's my first question. My second one entirely is, you have painted a picture of a heavenly city in Kampala in Uganda. Presumably that would be called speculative urbanization, where you're going to create things that are here for Ugandan who is here. Now that presumably, in my understanding, widens the gap between the rich and the poor, the affordability on how somebody here can actually access this city regardless of the employment that can be set in. Africa is trying to move to a situation where we narrow that gap. How then does this Akon City address a matter of that nature?
Nice. So let me ask you a second question first. So the question, if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, how do you put a city that's here for people that's here? Correct? This is the problem right here. What makes us here? Why aren't we here? You do know that we're the reason why the people that's here are here. So it's like it's the mind state. And I think the mentality of us as a people, we already believe that we're not worth what we're worth. I know for sure we're worth way more than what people look at us to be, because their idea and their goal is to keep us to think that we're nothing so they can continue to be something. Without Africans, the world won't exist. Without Africa itself, economy won't even exist. And I don't see why there's a reason why we can't build something up here for people that's up here. I look at all of us as we're right here. The only thing that stops us from being poor and rich is opportunity. And if we don't put opportunity in a place where there's less opportunity, people will never have the opportunity to be great. So I don't look at it as a standpoint of something that people can't afford. I know if I put it there, they're going to find a way to afford it, because it's going to motivate them to be bigger than what they are now. And I think if we put ourselves in a situation to think that things that seem to be impossible is impossible, we'll never reach a goal outside of who we are. And I remember the time of history that I was taught when Africa controlled the world. We were kings, queens, richer than anybody you can ever think about. When you look at certain names that made people like Bill Gates live in projects, they had so much money because the resources were so rich, and we just unfortunately aren't educated enough to know how to monetize those resources to our benefit. But ultimately, when you do and create an opportunity, people grow with that opportunity. People learn with that opportunity. People are motivated with that opportunity. So it may seem to be something of this nature today, but I guarantee you, you give an African a nickel, you give him 5 years with the right mind state, he'll turn that nickel into 5 billion. Because I'm a hustler, so I know how to flip a dollar. But I have the mind state to believe that I can do it. You guys are no different than me. I come from you, like we have the same blood. But the difference that I had was I went to the US and got motivated. I saw what you just had to, like I seen with my own eyes what man can accomplish. And to this day, people around the world is trying to figure out how the hell those Africans build those pyramids with no machines. Believe me, we have the capability. We just have to believe in ourselves enough to know that we can do it. So let's not discourage each other that the city's going to come here and fail. Let's know that when the city comes here, it's coming to win, and I'm going to need your support to do that.
Thank you very much, Akon. I will end.
I have one question, sir.
No. We will end here because our guest has other engagements. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Let's start on the COVID question, please. The COVID, how COVID could have affected his investment.
That's actually a very good question. We did launch the announcement that we plan to build Akon City in 2018. So what you heard was the announcement that it was going to happen. Then 2019, COVID actually hit. It did affect a lot of planning and preparation. The piece that actually helped us, and we were blessed, was the fact that we weren't in construction. But everyone was working from home and through the offices, so we were able to continue to still get logistics, contracts, and things of that nature done. So it didn't affect us as much as it should have because of the timing of it. And I think, God just had a better plan for us. So we actually got a lot more work done during COVID because we were able to focus on what was important. And now we're on the last bit of the soil studies in Senegal before starting construction in a few months. So it actually helped us out. For Uganda, COVID hopefully won't be an issue because we are currently at the tail end of it. So let's just pray that it doesn't get worse or another virus come to affect the process. But ultimately for us, the virus wasn't that much of an issue because of the things that we were doing wasn't contactual, if that makes sense.
Thank you very much. We will end here. Shall we?
Yeah. Oh, you're ending now? All right. Well, before we do end, I do want to thank the president. I really, Papa Mose put in a very good belief system in what I wanted to do here in Uganda. And I wanted to express that personally because, coming from the United States, you get so much. You get a lot of people saying a lot of things. Why Uganda? he's this, he's that. And I'm sure everyone here gets it. And one thing I want to emphasize is that you guys live here. You know, I want you to really understand the role of government, because a lot of people, unfortunately, we don't know the role of government. We depend on government to do everything. But government is just simply a system that regulates what you want to do and make things easier for what you need to do. You know, so, but in the end of the day, the government is not going to do the work for you. We as a people have to put in the work. We have to go in and make it happen. And then the government's job is to open the doors to give it easier access for licensing, regulation, security, financing, things of that nature. But we have to go in and actually put in the work. You know, so ultimately, he showed his leadership towards me, opened the doors, put me with his whole administration. Everybody was very supportive. They're opening the doors to make sure that Uganda's a better place. And I want to personally thank him, myself personally. And he loves my wife like his sister and daughter. So I got to love him the way he loved my wife. And I just wanted to say thank you to him. Honestly.